What's up, everyone? So today we're playing Mordhau in 2025. It has been 6 years since the game's original release back in 2019, and it is obviously not nearly as popular as it was, but you still have pretty populated servers of Frontline, Invasion, Horde mode, and obviously Duel, that there's enough going on, there's enough of a community that it is pretty easy for me to recommend, at least if you're someone who hasn't really gotten into this game before or played that much. If you're someone who's like a long-term veteran, you put like over 1,000 hours into it, and there really isn't much more for you to experience. There weren't really a whole lot of updates over the past few years. We got crossplay though, finally, full crossplay support. I think it was May or June of last year, and I mistakenly said that there was no full crossplay, because I honestly had no idea that they actually added it into Mordhau finally, because originally the way it was, you had crossplay a few years ago. It was added into Mordhau, but it was only between Xbox and PlayStation. PC players could not play with consoles. So that obviously, it was crossplay, but it wasn't full crossplay support. So if you had friends on PC and you were on console, you were basically shit out of luck. Thankfully, though, that has been added in, and that has definitely helped keep the game alive, because I notice when I'm playing, I see a lot of a mix, like between PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. It's pretty much an equal amount of players across all three of those platforms. So thankfully we have that, because I think if we didn't have crossplay, it would be really difficult to actually find a match in 2025. So it's good that they actually added that in. As far as, like, actually comparing it directly between Mordhau and Chivalry 2, they are two completely different games. From the map design to the actual gameplay itself, the melee combat is wildly different. Like, you could be a pro at Shiv 2 and not be very good at Mordhau, like, just because of the key differences between the balancing and the way that the weapons are handled and everything, that, yeah, it's actually very different. That just because you like Chivalry 2 doesn't necessarily guarantee that you'll like Mordhau. I do think there's a very good chance, though, because there's not a lot of medieval, large-scale warfare multiplayer games out there. It's really just this, it's Chivalry 2, and For Honor, and that's basically it as far as I know. Maybe there's other ones out there. I mean, there's Chivalry 1, but no one plays that anymore. I remember this game also used to have a Battle Royale mode that actually was a lot of fun. It was actually one of my favorite Battle Royale experiences, but because the player count was so low, and it didn't really make sense for them to keep it going, they got rid of it, kind of like Fallout 76. They had a Battle Royale, but no one played it, so they're like, okay, well, we're just gonna can it and focus efforts on other things. So, yeah, that kind of sucks, because I really enjoyed the BR for Mordhau. The Horde mode, the PvE, still has a lot of players, as I mentioned. I have a lot of bad memories with that, because I had an experience where I was playing and all the other teammates died, but they decided to vote kick me because I was taking too long, even though it was literally me against like 100 different enemies, and it was like a high level round too. I'm like, oh man, yeah, I hate that. That pissed me off. The community can be very toxic at times, but hey, it's still a pretty fun game. It still holds up very well, I think, graphically, visually, and just the gameplay itself. I mean, 6 years is not that long ago. I still think it's pretty impressive how well it still looks, and it's a game that could easily pass for a 2025 release. But yeah, this game is a no-brainer if you're interested in medieval history and medieval in general. This game will definitely scratch that itch for you. It's basically Battlefield with swords. I know that's an oversimplification, absolutely, but that's the general idea of what the game is, like, for what you should come to expect. Large maps with objectives, 64 players, with a class system, a rank progression, and everything that you'd come to expect from a multiplayer game. And especially because of the high player count and full crossplay support, I can easily say without hesitation that the game is worth playing in 2025. Because there are a lot of games that I love, and I enjoyed playing back in the day, but sometimes I have to say, it may not really be worth it, because it's dead, literally no one's playing, and it's just a pain in the ass to actually find a match, because there's some times where I actually have to go out and do that. As much as I really want more people to play the game, I have to kind of be honest and tell people what they should expect if they do want to play it, but Mordhau is an easy recommendation and still great 6 years later. Absolutely.